Okay, welcome everybody. And this evening I had the theme. I just every time I kind of tune into a theme before the class, and I was feeling about lengthening the spine, tractioning the spine or lengthening the spine, because it's something I've been doing a lot of recently. I was just saying to Ola how busy I am on the land here, physical work. So it's really important that I stretch out my spine after I've been hunched over digging or whatever. So it should feel really good. I think for most people, when we lengthen the spine, it just feels good. And we'll use this practice to work up towards inversions. As always in this mixed ability class, you go as far as you want with that, but there will be the possibility or the invitation for headstand, maybe even forearm balance if we get there, for those that want to do it. And for those that don't, we'll, as always, we'll just take a step-by-step journey towards those postures. So you just stop at the step that you feel comfortable at, or that your body feels comfortable at, because even though headstand doesn't require such an opening as some of the other inversions, like forearm balance and handstand, even shoulder stand, it still requires the back to be a certain amount of openness, the lower back, and it requires the shoulders and the upper back to be a certain amount of openness. So, they're just, at some point, we just have to accept the limitations of the body and work on opening until we're able to go further. And that's what this class will do. Okay, whether we get to the end posture or not, it's going to help. So let's start in child's pose, but this will kind of be a theme or a motif. You can take knees together or knees wide, but take the arms forward. So maybe you're not even sure what I mean by tractioning the spine, but hopefully you will be by the end of the class. But in this case, we can kind of traction the spine by walking the fingertips as far forward as possible, but without letting the buttocks come forward as well. So it's like the buttocks are sinking down and back almost. The fingertips are reaching forward. And between those two directions, the spine gets lengthened. It's like we're putting ourselves on the rack almost, in a very gentle, non-torturous way, hopefully. But that's that sense of stretching in two directions. Obviously, this is our first posture, so don't overstretch, because what you might feel, and what we're really focusing on, is quite a strong opening around the shoulders. So don't overstretch this first. If you need to bend the elbows, or you need to just bring the fingertips back towards you a little bit, do so. Just have a sense of the spine being at its full length here, and just start to settle into the shape and connect with your breath. So deepen the breath. And kind of feel your spine like a plumb line, the center line through your body. And as you breathe, your body, your torso is expanding around, concentrically around this center line, this axis. So you can feel this 360-degree expansion around this kind of axis pole of the spine as you breathe in, and everything drawing back towards that center line as you breathe out. So really feeling the central role that the spine plays. We often forget how much it's doing for us. It really is our central axis of supporting the body. So it's good to give it lots of attention sometimes. Let's take a couple more breaths here. And then when you're ready, just bring yourself up to tabletop. So up to your hands and knees. And we'll mobilize the spine with cat-cow. So inhale, looking up, lifting the tailbone. Exhale, tailbone tucks, chin towards chest, look down the tip of the nose. And try to feel this, again, as creating as much length of the spine. So when you come into the cow, really kind of feel like the crown of the head's drawing forwards and the tailbone's drawing backwards. As you exhale, and I've really pushed through the hands to stretch the mid-spine up towards the ceiling. And just try to mobilize the spine as best as possible. And even though when we're in the cat, it's not so much spinal traction, spine kind of gets more compressed, or the two tips of the spine get closer together. It's really good preparation for headstand the cats because it's opening the upper back and the shoulders. So feel length in the spine in the cow, and then really maximize that opening between the shoulder blades and the upper back in the cat. A couple more rounds. And at the end of your next exhale, just kind of pausing, come back to the neutral spine, hips stay above the knees. And we're going to do the yin version of the puppy. So we're going to keep the hips where they are, walk the hands forward, and just bring the elbows down and bend the left arm. So your left hand is kind of touching your right forearm. And then we kind of drop the head, or maybe the left hand is reaching the right upper arm just above the elbow. So either below the elbow or above the elbow. And then we rest the head, if possible, on the floor behind the left forearm, maybe on the left forearm, or you might need to use a block. And it's a version of Anahatasana, so there's that sense of melting the chest to the floor. And again, you might feel this is quite a strong shoulder opener. If it gets too much, come out, or maybe you can take both hands forward and press through the hands to lift the elbows and come into kind of a downward dog on the knees if this is too much for the shoulders. And otherwise, just again, focus on this expansion around the center line of the spine as you inhale, and exhale, everything drawing back towards the spine in support of the spine as you exhale. And then at the end of your next exhale, we just swap the arms over. So you extend, you can come up a little bit to get into position, extend the left arm out in front of the left shoulder, then the right arm. So, whatever's best for you, either above or below the elbow, just kind of rest the hand there, right hand on left arm, and then drop the head behind the forearm, right forearm, or on top of the right forearm, or on a block behind the right forearm. And remembering our kind of focus is tractioning the spine. So again, you might just have that sense of the spine lengthening. This is a gravity-assisted posture. So gravity is lengthening the spine down towards the floor, but the hips stay high. You might also feel the lengthening in the side waist as well, as a natural byproduct of tractioning and lengthening the spine. So it creates a lot of space. And again, if it's too intense in the shoulders, just modify, take both hands forward, lift the elbows, whatever you need to do. A couple more breaths. And then from here, just lifting, pressing through the hands, walking the hands back in. Because we're working towards headstand, we will do a little bit of core awareness because we need core awareness for our inversions. So when you're ready, just stretch the right leg out behind you and the left arm out in front of you. And we can still focus on tractioning here. We can really press back through the right heel. Obviously, we're lifting the front body up towards the spine, and we're really extending through the left fingertips. And as well as that, it's like the crown of the head's extending forward, so the neck is long, and the tailbone's extending back behind us. So in all the postures, we can kind of focus on keeping the spine as long and straight and decompressed as possible. And then exhale, release. Find your core again. So lift the ribs up to the spine, lift the belly up to the spine, lift on the pelvic floor, stretch the left leg out, stretch the right arm forward, keep the front body lifting up towards the spine. Try to decompress the lower back here. Again, lengthen the tailbone, lengthen the crown of the head forward. Even just with your intention, you might not feel anything move, but with your intention, this is going to help. Stretch the left heel back, stretch the right fingertips forward, and breathe fully. Beautiful. And then exhale, release. And then we're just going to come to kneeling. If kneeling isn't okay, just cross Across the legs is fine as well. Just going to explore different ways to lengthen the spine. So from here, in either cross-legged or kneeling, inhale and raise the hands up, and Hastasana, kind of hand posture. We we interlace the fingers and stretch the palms up towards the ceiling and kind of drop the tailbone. So, you know, this is a cue I use a lot, drop the tailbone. So for me, when I'm kneeling, I often, if I'm not conscious, I'm sticking my bum out, as I'm showing here, kind of over-exaggerating and dropping the tailbone. It's like taking the overarch at the lower back and really just dropping that tailbone like an anchor towards the floor, the earth. I like to imagine it like it's an anchor reaching for the center of the earth, really rooting me down. So when we've got the tailbone lengthening and the palms stretching up again, the spine is being stretched in 2 directions. And again, you'll probably feel this as both a strengthening and an opening in the upper back. And then exhale, just release the hands down. Take the hands behind you, the fingertips forward, and just lift the chest. And it's up to you. You could just stay here with the buttocks on the heels. You could be doing this cross-legged as well. Or if you wish, you could just lift the buttocks off the heels. But if that's not too strong at this stage of the class, you could even drop the head back. So it's like a modified camel. Couple breaths. You could also, if you're cross-legged, lift the hips if you wish. Lower the hips back down, bring yourself up to vertical. We're going to take Hastasana again, but with the other little finger on the outside. So just do it, don't even think about it, do it how you would normally do it. And then just move everything one, so the other little finger's on the outside. It's going to feel weird. Stretch the hands up. Again, take the arch at the lower back, drop the tailbone. The other good thing about dropping the tailbone is it connects you to your core. So you just explore that, see if you can feel the front body switch on as you drop the tailbone, stretching the skin of the palms up and dropping the shoulders. Breathe fully, especially into the parts of the upper back that are feeling this. You feel like they're being worked and open. That's what we're looking for. And then exhale, release. And once more, take the hands back. Lift the chest, lift the space behind the heart, and if you wish, lift the hips as well, just for 3 breaths or so. You can keep the chin tucked in, or if it feels comfortable, all the way back. And then slowly lower the hips back down, bring yourself back up. Just drop the hips to the side, and if you're not already there, come to cross-legged position or Sukhasana, heel in front of heel, shin in front of shin. And just, we're going to focus on the side bodies as well. So just moving with the breath for a moment. Inhale at the center, and as you exhale, just lean over to the left, like you're taking the chin beyond the left knee, and inhale back to the center, and exhale, take the chin beyond the right knee, trying to keep the buttocks kind of rooted on the floor. And this is going to reveal, just keep that going. The inhale brings you back to the center. The exhale takes the chin kind of diagonally forward, tracking along the thigh. And if you're keeping the buttocks on the floor, it's going to become apparent to you quite soon if you've got one side tighter than the other. It's very apparent to me that there's one side that I'm much more restricted in. I just can't, if I keep the buttocks on the floor, I can't go as far. If you allow the buttocks to come off the floor, then you're not getting the same stretch. Your body's just kind of cheating. Okay, next time you come over to the left, we'll stay. So keep that right buttock on the floor, the chin's kind of over towards the left knee, and then take the hands out so your hands are kind of either side of your left thigh in front of the left knee. And just walk them as far forward as feels right for you, keeping the right buttock on the floor. And you can drop the head, but if you want to work more with this kind of tractioning, maybe come up on the fingertips, change my view, and work more with a kind of flat back, open chest. So, but you know, you're also welcome to drop the head. You're going to get this lengthening of the side body. Whichever you've chosen, just breathe, make sure that right buttock doesn't creep off the floor. And then at the end of your next exhale, walk the hands back into the center. Just make sure you're fully untwisted back to the center. Breathe, taking a breath in, and as you exhale, again, take that chin out beyond the right knee, same as we did, and then release the hands to the floor, either side of the thigh, but in front, as far forward as possible, keeping the left buttock on the floor, maybe dropping the head, but maybe working more with this. We did a thoracic spine focus a few weeks ago, more with this kind of thoracic spine opening by keeping the chest forward and lifted, the spine more straight. Great. And then slowly walking the hands back in. Again, untwist back to the front. We're going to come into downward dog, so just in your own way. Come back onto the hands and knees maybe first, and then tuck the toes and lift the hips and find your downward dog. So downward dog is one of the best ways to traction the spine, to lengthen the spine. And when we're tight in the back, we might kind of laugh at that. It probably doesn't feel like you're lengthening the spine at all, but you just have to trust in the process. So if you're somebody that the back is quite tight and we have to bend the knees and the shoulders are more close to the wrist, just trust that over time, this posture is opening. So eventually the spine can lengthen and the hips can travel back. And the spine can come into its full, straight, or neutral curves position. The head is just between the upper arms, relaxing the neck. Anchor down the fingers and the toes, feet and hands, your anchors, legs, your pillars of support, arms, your pillars of support. Connect to the core, the pelvic floor. Breathe into the back. One more breath. And then just come down to the knees and inhale. Exhale, come to Ashtangasana. Bring the chin and the chest down. And see if you can pause here. Might be a bit uncomfortable, but if you can, just pause in Ashtangasana with the chin and the chest on the floor, shoulders drawing back, hips lifted. So again, it's a bit like the puppy. It's like a gravity-assisted way of lengthening spine. And then slide the legs out behind you. Inhale, come up into a back bend. It could be just a really shallow cobra. Could be deeper if you wish. Just take a couple of breaths. Keep the elbows close to the sides and feel extension. Feel like this invisible string pulling upwards on the crown of the head. This is how we traction and lengthen the spine in back bend. Exhale, lower yourself down. Tuck the toes under, press yourself up through tabletop and come back to downward dog. If at any point downward dog gets too strong, if it is a difficult posture for you, come back to that child's pose, but with the arms outstretched in front of you. So from here, there's an invitation, if it's okay for you, to bring the left hand to the center line of the body, the center line of the mat, sorry, and take the right hand back to come to the outside of the left leg. Now, depending on how open you are, it could be above the knee, it could be below the knee. If you're very open, it might be the ankle or the foot. And then we push through that left hand, send the hips back, and look up underneath that left shoulder. So we're tractioning the spine for the upper left side of the back and shoulder. Pretty intense posture, strong legs. And then release. Swap sides. So just take a moment to bring the right hand to the center of the mat. Reach the left hand back, holding onto the outside of the right leg, again above or below the knee or ankle. Press through the right hand actively and look up underneath your right shoulder. If this is too much, just normal downward dog or child's pose with arms stretched forward. Release the left hand back, come back to downward dog. If the wrists are sore, come onto the elbows here for forearm plank, but otherwise we're just going to travel forward into plank. So shoulders directly above the wrist. So you could be in forearm plank with the elbows and the forearms on the floor here instead. Okay, so again, just working a little bit with core today to help us find the internal stability in headstand. Breathe fully. Great, and then again, bring the knees down. We'll take Ashtangasana. Take the chin and the chest down, forward in front of the hands, draw the shoulders back, pause for an extra breath if you can, if it's not too uncomfortable, and then slide the legs back and inhale, come to a back bend again, either shallow cobra or more towards upward dog, but draw those shoulders back and focus on This time we kind of ground down through the pubic bone. That's our downward anchor, lengthening the tailbone as best we can. And the crown of the head is being kind of lifted up, so the sides of the neck are long. Great. And then push back. Take that child's pose. If you wish, take downward dog, but otherwise take that child's pose with the arms outstretched for a moment. Find the traction in here. Again, knees together or wide, your choice. And just breathe fully into the back and the shoulders, the upper back. Great. And when you're ready, return to tabletop. Tuck the toes under, downward dog again. I'm going to do lots of downward dog variations today. And then at the end of the exhale, look forward and walk or step the feet to the hands. So you end up with your feet underneath your hips. And if you have the luxury of 2 blocks, it's going to be helpful here. But even 1 block is going to help. So we'll just start with a standard forward fold. So just dropping the head, feeling how this is more of a kind of rounded back forward fold, maybe holding the opposite elbows. This helps traction the spine because gravity kind of draws the tips of the elbows down. The crown of the head is being drawn down by gravity. So this is all helping traction the spine. And when we're preparing for the strong inversions like headstand, it's good to do lots of more simple inversions like this one, just to get used to being upside down. It changes everything. It changes our blood flow, our energy flow, our perspective on the world. It can be quite disorientating, and the nervous system has to get used to it. So yoga is great because it has loads of inversions. It helps prepare us for the stronger ones. Okay, now from here, if you don't have any blocks, you can use your hands on your shin, and obviously you can bend the knees as much as you need. But if you have 2 blocks, or even 1, walk the blocks out in front of you until we can kind of get to that downward dog shape in the back, but with the legs vertical now. And drop the head between the upper arms, just as if we were in downward dog. It's actually really nice to do it on blocks, even if you're pretty open. It's very freeing for the shoulders. So I'm doing it on the highest setting with 2 blocks. Again, if you only had 1 block, you put it in the middle and you put 1 hand on top of the other, like I'm showing here. Take a couple more breaths. Feel this, because again, it's gravity assisted, as a way of lengthening, tractioning the spine. Knees can be as bent as you need. Great, and then just walk the hands back in and move the blocks out of the way. Bend the knees, press through the feet, bring yourself up to stand. And we're going to do sun salutations, but we're just going to start each round with Utkatasana. So this is kind of more of a sun salutation B. In fact, let's do sun salutation B. It's quite strong. If it gets too much, just do what you can. Maybe skip. So with the sun salutation B, we start each one in the chair, because this is another way of tractioning the spine. We stretch up with the fingertips as we root down through the tailbone. And we put in a warrior 1 each side. So if you are struggling, just skip the warrior 1s, maybe take a child's pose and then join back in after we've done warrior 1 on both sides. Okay, so just starting Tadasana at the front of the mat, feet together, hands by the side, chest nice and open and lifting, strong legs, rooted like a mountain. And then when you're ready, bend the knees, bring the fingertips towards the floor. Keep the knees bent as you inhale, sweep the hands up, palms together, or they can be shoulder width apart, that's better. We're just going to pause for a couple of breaths here because it's so good for this theme we're doing today. Stretch up dynamically through the fingertips. Even if your shoulders are tight and your hands are more in front of you, still dynamically stretch. And then as you exhale, bring the hands down, lift the hips, fold yourself in. Inhale, look up and lengthen. Really feel this as, again, a tractioning spine, maybe bringing the hands onto the shins. And then exhale, step back to the plank or tabletop with the knees down. Inhale here. Exhale, lower down. Maybe you want to do it with Ashtangasana today to help this theme, bringing the chin and the chest down. Inhale into a back bend, feel that invisible string pulling on the top of your head. Exhale back to downward dog. Now here's the difference. We turn the left foot in and we step the right foot forward between the hands. So if you need to come onto your knees to do so, do. Bend the front leg, inhale, sweep the hands up, warrior one. We'll slow it down a little bit, take an extra breath for this first one. And then as you exhale, take the hands back down again. Step back to the plank or tabletop with the knees down. Inhaling, tabletop or plank. Exhaling, lower down. Again, Ashtanga, or if you prefer, Chaturanga. Inhale, back bend of your choice. Feel extension in the spine here. And exhale, downward dog. And then this time, turn the right foot in. So heel in, toes out, and step the left foot forward between the hands. Keep the left knee bent and inhale, sweep the hands up for warrior one, hips face forward, take an extra breath. And then as you exhale, take the hands back down. Last time we come back to plank or tabletop, inhaling here. Exhale, lowering down. Maybe you want to do knees off the floor now for work with more with the core. Inhale into a spinal extension, back bend and exhale, downward dog. And this time we pause in downward dog or child's pose, remember, for about 3 breaths. If it's child's pose, make sure you keep the fingertips stretching forward. Really press through the hands to send the hips back and feel this spaciousness, this extension around the upper back and shoulders. At the end of your next exhale, look forward, walk, step or jump feet to the hands. Inhale, look up, feel this is spinal extension, traction. Exhale, drop the head. Press, bend the knees, sink the hips, and inhale, raise the hands back into the chair. And exhale, straighten the legs, hands to the side. Great, so we're gonna do 2 more. And this time we're gonna pick up the pace, we'll just do 1 breath for each posture. For those of you who really struggle to get into the postures and you're only just getting in and we're moving again, just kind of come into your own rhythm with it. And we'll all catch up at the end, okay? So do the best you can. I know it's a bit full on. Okay, so 2 more, 1 breath, 1 movement. Except we'll put 2 breaths in for the chair, the first one. Bend the knees, take the fingertips towards the floor. Inhale, take the hands up, sink the tailbone down, stretch up dynamically through the fingertips. Take another breath. Extend that back, that spine. And then on your next exhale, take the hands down, lift the hips, head moves towards the shins. Inhale, look up and lengthen, shoulders back, chest forward. Exhale, step back to plank or tabletop. Inhale here. Exhale, lower down, knees on or off the floor. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward dog. Turning the left foot in, step the right foot forward between the hands. Inhale, bring the hands up, warrior one. Exhale, take the hands down, step back to plank or tabletop. Inhale here, strong legs. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, back bend, shoulders back, chest forward. Exhale, downward dog. Spin the right foot, heel in, toes out. Step the left foot forward between the hands. Inhale, sweep the hands up, warrior one. Exhale, take the hands down. Step the left foot back. Inhale, plank or tabletop. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward dog or child's pose. Take about 3 breaths here. Remember, those of you who are struggling with the pace of this, just skip the warrior ones. Just stay in child's pose, all that warrior one phase of the sequence, and join in afterwards. Okay, 1 more deep breath here, lengthening the spine, bending the knees. If that helps you lengthen the spine. At the end of the exhale, look forward, walk, step or jump, feet to the hands. Use the inhale to look up, lengthening the spine, and exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, sink the hips. Inhale, sweep the hands up, really extend, and exhale, straighten the legs, hands to the side. Take a full breath here. And at the end of the exhale, last round, bend the knees, taking your tips towards the floor. Inhale, take the hands up, keep the knees bent. Take an extra breath, exhaling, inhaling fully to extend up, drop the tailbone. And as you exhale, bring the hands to the floor, drop the head, lift the hips. Inhale, look up, lengthen the spine. Exhale, step or jump back, plank or tabletop, knees on or off the floor. Inhale here. Exhale, push the floor away as you lower down. Inhale, back bend, spinal extension. Exhale, downward dog. Spin the left foot, heel in, toes out, right foot steps forward. Bend on the right knee as you inhale up to warrior one. Exhale, release the hands down, step back, plank or tabletop. Inhale, exhaling, lower down. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward dog. Left foot spins, left heel in, toes out, right foot steps forward. Inhale, warrior one on the right. Exhale, hands down. I think I did the right leg twice, so I think we need to do the left leg. Sorry, guys. Right foot turns in, left foot steps forward. If you already did the left, then just skip this. Inhale, left leg forward. Exhale, down. And plank for the last time, or tabletop. Inhale, plank or tabletop. Exhale, lower down, Ashtangasana or Chaturanga. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward dog. We're nearly there. Or child's pose. Take a few breaths. Extend and lengthen that spine. And at the end of the exhale, look forward. Walk, step or jump, feet to the hands. Inhale, look up and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, sink the hips. Inhale, take the hands up. Hips dropping, fingertips reaching up, and exhale, straighten the legs, hands to the side, and pause. Come back to that groundedness of the mountain. Catch your breath. Let your heart rate settle. Well done. Sorry, I got a bit confused. I actually don't know whether I did both sides or not, but hopefully you kind of worked it out for yourself. And we did both sides. Take a moment. Okay, and then when you're ready, we're going to step to face the long edge of the mat with a nice wide stance, with the outer edges of the feet parallel, toes pointing forwards. And we're going to bring the hands to the hips. And this is another one where if you know your hamstrings are tight, just have a block handy in front of you. Okay, so we're going to roll the shoulders back. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, forward fold. So we'll just start with the normal position. So when you get to your deepest fold, drop the hands to the floor or blocks and let the back of the neck be long. And just for a moment, pause here in this classic Prasarita posture, playing around with the weight distribution in your feet and feeling the legs strong. So lifting on the inner seams of the leg, lifting the inner arches, and gluing down all four corners of the feet. And here we're in another inversion. This is good. This is preparing us to be upside down. And feel gravity as your ally, drawing the crown of the head towards the floor as the hips kind of lift up in the opposite direction. So again, gravity assisted traction. So just really feel that neck relaxed, the spine getting longer with gravity. Okay, and then we're going to just change it. So press through the hands and look up so the arms are long, the arms are straight, and walk the hands forward again. So we're back in that kind of downward dog back. And this is where, again, if you've got the luxury of 2 blocks, if the floor feels quite far away, you can put your hands on blocks on any of the 3 heights, or if you've only got 1 block, bring 1 block into the center and put 1 hand on top of the other, and you'll just rest your head kind of on the upper arms. Or you reach the floor, but we just reach them tractioning. So when I say tractioning, it's like you're walking the fingertips forward as far as they'll go to get as much length in the spine as possible. At the same time, you're kind of shooting the hips back. So you should feel, again, that sense that we're putting ourselves on the imaginary rack here in a gentle, loving, yogic way. And stretching the side body, stretching the spine, stretching the skin of the back, the front, the whole torso lengthening. 1 more breath. Great, and then from here, walk the hands back in, so they're kind of underneath the shoulders, and turn the right foot all the way out to the right, and then turn the left foot in a little bit, and walk the hands forward to like 45 degrees. So if we were going all the way around to face the right, we would have we'd be facing the right. In fact, let's do that first, actually. So we've got the right knee above the ankle. Again, blocks could very much be your friend today if this is all quite tricky to find the floor. One block either side of the front foot. We're pressing the left foot back on the floor. So we've got the little toe edge glued to the floor. The hips are facing forward. So we start here. So it's like a low lunge, but we've got the back foot glued to the floor. And then we're going to walk the hands out to the left to, let's say, 45 degrees between, more or less, between the right foot and the left foot. So if it was 90 degrees, we'd be back into kind of where we were just then in the prasarita. So a bit closer to your right foot. But again, do the same thing. Walk the fingertips out as far as possible. Drop the head between the upper arms. Feel the stretch in the spine. Breathe deep. If this is too much, just skip this posture. It's quite a strong stretch in that inner right thigh. Walk the hands back. Come back through prasarita. So you might just want to drop that down for a moment. Feel that gravity-assisted inversion here of the neck long. And then we'll walk to the left. So turn your left foot out first, all the way out, and walk your hands until, and turn the right foot in, so the toes are in front of the heel. And walk all the way around until the hands are either side of the left foot, on blocks if you need. The left knee is kind of above the ankle or behind. And try to keep that back leg glued down with the hips and the chest and everything's facing forward for now. So low lunge with warrior two or side angle pose feet. And then keep the legs exactly where they are. Try to keep that left knee over the left ankle as you start to walk to the right. Again, to about 45 degrees. So if you drew a right angle between your left foot pointing forward, the right angle would be where your hands were in prasarita, straight out in front. So halfway between left foot and where your hands were before. And then reach the fingertips forward, drop the head between the upper arms, keep that back foot glued to the floor, spinal traction. One more breath. And then walking the hands back to the prasarita position, turn both feet parallel again. And just one more time before we come up, feel the gravity-assisted inversion of prasarita. So just allow the neck to lengthen, the crown of the head to descend. Feel space being created between the vertebra with gravity. And breathe. Okay, and then from here, bring the hands to the hips, bend the knees if you need, come up with a flat back and just take your time to come up and let the head come up last. And we've been down for a while, so just slowly lift the head and just take a moment. When we've been upside down for a while, we just have to take a moment to let the blood get used or come back to the normal blood flow. And then when you're ready, step feet together. I forgot to say at the start, for today, we're going to do one posture at the wall, but you only need it to be as wide as you are. So I hope you've all got that. If not, just take downward dog in the center of the room, because otherwise we're going to do downward dog at the wall. So unfortunately, I wish I had a wall in front of me for these demonstrations, but I just have to kind of turn my bum to you, and it's not the best view to see, but hopefully with my instructions as well, you'll get it. So we're going to face the wall, and it's like downward dog at the wall. We're creating an L shape. So we want the legs or the feet directly underneath the hips, and the hands in line with the shoulders. And then we're just going to press. So you have to find the place. My feet need to come back a little bit so that I feel traction, extension. So then you just press the hands forward, shoot the tailbone back, and hopefully feel a sense of this stretching, this putting yourself on the rack feeling. If you're somebody that's quite mobile in the back and the shoulders, then your work is to work more with core, and that's going to help you actually feel more stretched. So possibly burning, maybe penning. Well, any of you that are feeling like you're kind of collapsing in the upper back, Lift the upper back so your arms in line with the shoulders, and really focus on core, like this adduction, feeling like you're squeezing a block. You could even squeeze a block, and drawing the navel up to the spine and lifting on the pelvic floor. And when I do that, I feel like the tractioning increases. Those of you working more to open the upper back and the shoulders, you kind of drop the chest as much as possible. You kind of do the opposite. You know, we all need to do what we need to do to come to the middle, where that's beautiful, Miriam. Can't quite see your angle, Ola, but I'm sure it's spot on. We're trying to straighten the arms as best we can. Okay, just take one more breath. I love this posture. I'm doing this posture every day at the moment. And then to come out, just start to walk towards the wall and come out to the posture. Well done. Okay. Seeing as we're all at the wall, let's just do the other posture that I'm doing every day at the moment, which it's like chair at the wall. I do it squeezing a block, but you don't have to. You could just come with the feet together. But we're going to come to the wall with the back to the wall. Maybe take a block between the thighs. And up to you, if you're not so strong in the legs, have the hips higher. If you're a bit stronger, hips could potentially even be in line with the knees. But with our focus today, it's spinal traction. So we want to extend the arms up the wall. And that might be challenging if our shoulders are tight. But just try and take 5 breaths. Obviously, we're working with the core here, squeezing the block if you're using a block, or squeezing the thighs together. We're working with leg strength. Full breaths. Okay, great. And to come out of this, the easy way is to just press the hands behind you, but try to come up with a flat back, coming off. Great. And that's good to work with the core as well, building up to headstand. Okay, so let's come down to the floor now. Have a look at some seated postures. So when you're ready, just come to sit down in Dandasana. So Dandasana is the staff pose. It's again, we're going to make it into another, I said, lots of downward dog variations. So we're going to make this into another version of downward dog in a moment. But just start with classic Dandasana. So pressing through the heels, opening the soles of the feet, firming the thighs. How we traction the spine here is, again, that sense of grounding down through the pelvis, the tailbone, feeling that extension, like somebody's pulling that string on the crown of the head, rolling the shoulders back and down. And by dropping the tailbone again, we connect to the core. So see if you can connect to your front body. If we just let it go, we don't feel the deep core. So draw that navel in, lower belly in, lift on the pelvic floor. Connect to the seat of your bandhas, Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha, or just pelvic floor and navel to spine. Okay, and then we turn it into downward dog, on seated downward dog. So we stretch the hands up. And here we can again feel that spinal extension. So we root down through the tailbone. So again, try not to overarch, lose that core connection, root down, stretch up. Maybe you want to do the Headstand again, where you interlace the fingers and press the palms up towards the ceiling. So this can, if we're weak in the lower back, this can be really challenging, but it's really good for us. And then as you exhale, come into a forward fold. And again, if it just feels like you need to just relax the upper back for a moment and drop the head, that's absolutely fine. But if you want to work more with that thoracic opener, spinal extension, you could work with a strap or just hands on the shins or feet or thighs, but work more with this flat back, chest forward. So up to you what you do here. Just intuit it, listen to your body. If your body just needs a break from all this spinal traction, just feel free to take more of a soft, rounded back, dropping head version. Take a couple more breaths. And then from here, release. If you've used a strap, maybe keep it handy. You might want to use it again. And we'll come into Janushirshasana. So bring the sole of the left foot to the inner right thigh. Inhale, take the hands up first. So again, every time we do this, feel it as spinal extension and try not to overarch the lower back. Try to keep the lower ribs drawing in, dropping the tailbone. And then exhale, hinge forward again. You might want to use the strap or hands on the shin or thigh straight back today, or drop the head. You know, actually at this stage of the class, it doesn't matter. We're going to do a couple more real spinal tractions. So do what feels best for you. And then just to mix it up a little bit, same as kind of what we did in that weird version of side angle pose, we're going to do the same. We're going to take the hands to about 45 degrees between the left knee and the right foot. And again, walk the fingertips out as far as is possible, and then it's up to you. You can just drop the head, or again, maybe up on the fingertips, work on drawing the shoulders back, chest forward, and feeling this extension through the spine. Gluing the pelvis down towards the floor, both sides of the pelvis. If it feels at all like it could tweak something in your back because we're in a lateral stretch slightly, then back off or just come to face forward again. And then slowly walk the hands in, turn to face the front, swap sides. Take the left leg out, bring the sole of the right foot to the inner left thigh. So again, root down through the pelvis, through the anchor of the tailbone as you stretch the hands up. I often, when I stretch the hands up, I take the Kali Mudra, thumbs and all fingers crossing except the index finger, and it's like shooting that energy up as the tailbone shoots down towards the center of the earth. Spine stretches between the two. And then exhale, bring the chin and the chest forward, hands come onto the legs, draw the shoulders back, chest forward. Breathe deep. From here, just walk the hands out to, again, that 45-degree position between your left heel and your right knee, walking the fingertips as far forward as possible, tractioning the spine, and then maybe dropping the head between your upper arms, or if it feels better, up on the fingertips, working to work more with a flat back, chest lifting. So maybe explore both and just come to what feels best, or perhaps just do the same as what you did on the other side, actually, for evenness. Keep that left leg alive, keep the pelvis rooted, especially the left side. I'm really sorry if you can hear, my partner's phone has been going off relentlessly. I presume our guests are lost, so I'm really sorry if you can hear that. Hopefully you can't. Okay, and then slowly walk the hands back in. Oh, what time are we on? Oh, we've got a bit more time. Okay, so we're going to do that same kind of theme. We'll do another seated pose, but with this invitation, everything's an invitation to take the hands off to that side and feel the traction there. So we'll do this in pigeon. So when you're ready, just maybe come back into downward dog, or you can just stay in tabletop, but with our focus today of spinal traction, just another downward dog can't hurt if it's feeling okay in the wrists and the rest of the body. And then bring your left knee behind the left wrist, shin across the front of the body, and slide the right foot back. So pad underneath the left hip if you need. Block or blanket to elevate the hips. And today we're going to walk the hands forward, kind of just sliding them forward, as ideally kind of all the way forward. If the head doesn't come down, use a block. So on any of its three heights. If this isn't available, just go as far forward as is right for you, but still having this sense of extension, kind of crown of the head lifting, spine extending. If this is all too much on that front knee, come onto your back and bring the left outer ankle onto the front of the right thigh to thread the needle. Otherwise, just a couple of breaths here with the arms forward. And then walking the hands back in, stay low, and same as before, we're just going to walk to about 45 degrees. So if you think that a 90-degree angle would be forward from your left knee and kind of out from your right hip, straight out. So somewhere about 45 or halfway between those 2 points, Stretch the hands forward. If you're very open, your head might come down to the floor or onto a block. And if you're not so open in this shape, just go as far as you can, and then just kind of have a sense of lifting up through the spine. So we're grounding down through the pelvis, lifting up through the spine. Great. And then walking the hands back in first, and then come to face the front. And then when you're ready, we'll swap sides. So tucking that back toe under, coming back, maybe just straight back to downward dog again, even today's theme. But if you prefer, just extend the left leg out from tabletop. Just get the length in the back of the leg. And then when you're ready, we'll go to the other side. So bring your right knee behind your right wrist, slide the left foot back onto the top of the left foot. And again, if available, if you're quite open, you can just slide the hands all the way forwards, but thinking of this as kind of spinal traction, reaching the fingertips forward, head to the floor. Otherwise, we go as far as we can. Maybe there's an opportunity to rest the head on a block, just to support, or just wherever you get to, extend up through the spine. And then slowly walk the hands in from here, but stay low. And then walk the hands out to the left again. Imagine there's a right angle between left hip out to the left, right knee forward, halfway between more or less, and stretch the hands out. Again, if you're quite open, bring the head down to the floor, but walk those fingertips as far forward as possible, or just go as far as feels safe and comfortable, and extend through the spine. Couple more breaths. Okay. And then slowly walk the hands back in, turn to the front, and just ease yourself out of this. Again, perhaps straight back into downward dog. Maybe if it's better for you, left knee on the floor, stretch the right heel back. Okay. And then just come to your knees again, unless kneeling's not comfortable. We're just going to work a little bit with the shoulders, and then we're really very prepped to go towards headstand prep and possibly headstand. Okay, so we'll just do two very classic shoulder openers. So first of all, just reach the hands up, find that Hastasana again, interlace the fingers, stretch the palms up. And then keep your right elbow up, drop the right fingertips down the spine. And your first option is to use your left fingertips to traction the arm this time. So I use this word a lot. So we pull up and push down, get length in this upper arm. Or take the left hand out to the left with the palm facing behind you and bring the left fingertips up the spine. And you may find your opposite fingertips. If you don't, you could try holding a strap, or your material, it's not going to work for me, material of your top. Okay. Keeping that that right elbow lifted, armpit open, keep the chin lifted, keep again the tailbone dropping. I just caught myself overarching again in the lower back, feel the front body core. Great, and then release, ease out, stretch the arms wide, fingertips to fingertip connection. And then bring your left arm over your right and either hold your opposite shoulder or wrap the forearms, the Garudasana. This is a really good prep for headstand. It's a bit like the cat. It's that stretching between the upper back shoulder blades. Lift the elbows, press the hands forward if you're in Garudasana, and lift the chin. If you're holding opposite shoulder, draw the chin in slightly. And exhale, release. Move the shoulders if you need. See if you can get the opposite little finger on the outside. Stretch the palms away and up again. Hastasana. Drop the tailbone. Stretch up through the hands, down through the tailbone. Keep the left elbow pointing up. Drop the left fingertips down the spine. Hold the strap if you need. And either pull up and push down on the front of the left elbow, or reach the right hand to the side, palm faces behind you. Bring the right fingertips up the spine. Hold what you can hold, strap material, finger hook, lift the chin, keep drawing the tailbone down. And release. Again, fingertip to fingertip stretch. And then bring your right arm on top, I think. If I've got that wrong, do the other, but I think that's right. Lift the elbows up, press the hands forward, breathe into the upper back. Great. Okay, and release. And come back to that child's pose with the arms extended on the floor. I can no longer bear to listen to my partner's phone ringing, so I'm just going to mute myself and ring him and say, come and answer your phone. And I won't be in a second at all. So just take a spinal extension in child's pose. Okay, sorry about that. Mission unaccomplished, but enough time in child's pose. So slowly bring yourself up. Thank you for your patience. So let's give ourselves a bit of space to work towards headstand. So we're going to do this in 3 stages, and you go as far as you want. If you want to work at the wall, you're very welcome. I personally always learned in the centre of the room. But I know for many people, you know, in some ways, the biggest challenge with headstand, once your back's open enough, it's the courage, it's the fear factor, it's the having the courage to take your feet off the floor. So you can do this in the middle of the room, and I'll demonstrate because it's easier to demonstrate. But if you're going to do it at the wall, I'll also show you how to set up for that. Okay, so let's just do dolphin first. If you're already at the wall, you can do dolphin just close to the wall, but you don't need to be at the wall just yet, okay? Because we're not going to take our legs off the floor. So this is the final kind of spinal traction. Oh, sorry, I'm back in 1 second. Okay, sorry, all sorted now. So from here, we're going to come, this is the final really good posture for spinal traction is what I was about to say. So we come down, it's basically downward dog, but on our elbows and forearms. Okay, so bring your forearms parallel to each other, and then just take downward dog. So we tuck the toes under. You can also do this with hands interlaced, which in fact, let's do it that way because this is the headstand position. So elbows under the shoulders, hands interlaced. We press down through the little fingers and the forearms of the elbows as we lift the hips, tuck the toes, lift the hips. we're working with the spinal traction. So to just drop the head so the neck is long, like in all those inversions we did before. Bend the knees if you need, but feel like you're pushing the chest towards the thighs as you walk the toes as close towards the elbows as is available for you. It's a strong hamstring stretch. So bend the knees if you need. Keep pressing down actively through the forearms, elbows, little fingers. This is going to help create space around the ears, which is really important for headstand. And this is going to help open and strengthen the upper back. Feel like you're broadening the space between the shoulder blades, even like you're trying to spread the mat with your elbows without moving the elbows. And then slowly lower, come down, just take a little child's pose, maybe with the arms kind of gently outstretched in front of you, but maybe with a bend in the elbows, because we want to relax the shoulders in between the work. Great. Okay, so this time we're going to do the same, but with leg lifts, optional leg lifts, or just repeat. So hold to make sure your elbows are under your shoulders. This is what I always do for headstand. You hold your upper arm with a good firm grip, and then you release the hands without moving the elbows, and again interlace the hands. And tuck the toes, lift the hips, walk the toes towards the elbows without letting the shoulders come forward. So the shoulders stay above the elbows or even behind, because we're kind of pressing the chest towards the thighs. Relax the back of the neck, the top of the head's off the floor. And then either stay for a few breaths and come down, or inhale, raise the right leg as you ground through the left leg. This is just helping us get used to having one limb off the floor, and lower and swap sides. So dolphin is such a good, it's like the headstand prep posture, really. And lower and come down. So, you know, when we go further now, you can just keep doing dolphin. If this feels like it's your edge, and play with leg lifts. And then when you're ready, we're going to come up and we're going to do the same, but with the head on the floor. So this is where you might want to get set up at the wall, if you're not already. So how you would have your hands, if you're doing this at the wall, it would be that the knuckles would be touching the wall. That's about how far, or if you, maybe if you extend, if the forearms are parallel with the fingertips outstretched, the fingertips touch the wall. So actually when you bring the hands together, it's slightly away from the wall. I think the knuckles are slightly away from the wall. So that's a good position. Let me just check. Yeah, okay, didn't help that the window was there. Okay, so we're going to do the dolphin, but with the head on the floor this time. So whether you're at the wall or not, again, take that meaty grip of the upper arms. If you're just super confident in headstand, of course, just go into your own practice. It doesn't hurt to do the prep. The prep's amazing, no matter where we're at. Interlace the hands, but this time create like a little basket shape with your hands. So we're going to put the head behind the hands, the crown of the head on the floor. So even if you've never done headstand, you can have a go at this, because we're not going to necessarily take the feet off the floor. So bring the crown down, tuck the toes, and lift the hips. If at this point it just feels horrible in your neck, too much compression, just come back to the dolphin. But if it feels okay, we just take exactly like the dolphin, but now we're getting used to having the head on the floor. And now we really need to press down through the elbows, the forearms, the little fingers to reduce the pressure on the top of the head. If we don't do any of that work, the head takes it all, the shoulders collapse around the ears. So we want to be pushing actively to create lots of space between shoulders and ears. And you'll feel it when you press actively, the pressure on the head should reduce. And then slowly coming down. Take a child's pose. Okay, so with this last one, this is where you might want to play with going up if you're not already up. If you're up, take a nice long shot headstand. So be at the wall if you want, if you feel, if this is new, if you're new, or just repeat what we've done. If you're at all unsure, repeat what we've done. Don't try headstand, because I would really prefer to be in the room with you if it's your first time doing headstand, or that you go to a class with a teacher and be with a teacher in the room. So just continue with the prep. But if you've been doing yoga for a while and you want to play, you feel confident to do so, take the wall or not, Come down, we'll make that basket, make sure your elbows are directly underneath the shoulders, take that grip, interlace the hands, place the crown of the head on the floor. So it's like you're holding the head like a basket in the hands. Tuck the toes, walk the feet in, anchor down through the elbows, the forearms, and then just walk the feet as close as possible and maybe just explore what it's like to lift one foot up to the buttock and then the other, maybe both. Maybe we then take that little tweak of the pelvic position to start to come up, and then maybe we start to extend the legs up to the ceiling. But really we want it to happen in these control stages. Once you're up, you need to connect to your core, otherwise we banana and we get unstable. So all that work we were doing of lengthening the tailbone to connect to the front body comes into its own once we're in headstand, so we can feel stable at the core. Extend up through the feet. So just be playing with one leg, 1 foot higher, highering and lowering, raising and lowering. And when you're ready to come down, make sure you come into child's pose. If anybody needs any support, feel free to unmute and ask. That's it, Penny. Yeah, you're so there, Penny. Your back is just so in the right place. It's just your head now. Yes. And then find your core. And you have to do a bit of a pelvic tilt at this point, Penny. Yeah. You're so there. It's just your head now that needs to get used to it. Your body's absolutely ready. Okay. If you're still playing, play, and then make sure you're right, Orla. Thumbs up, medium there. Great. Okay, so it's a journey, you know, and as I always say in these classes, where we get to is irrelevant, actually. It's really about the journey. It's such a cliche, but it's true. And we never want to injure ourselves. So we never feel we need to be in a posture before we're ready. Okay, it's all about the opening of the body. That's what the body wants. The body wants the journey of opening, and then one day the posture will happen, possibly, and it doesn't matter if it doesn't. Okay, so we're just going to take a child's pose, but not a spinal extension child's pose. We're done with the spinal extension now. So just classic balasana, just let the shoulders flop forward, find that rounded back shape, and just take some breaths. So it's really important after headstand to take child's pose just to decompress the neck. And just take a good few breaths here. And child's pose. And actually just know that child's pose counts as a gentle inversion as well. So again, child's pose is amazing preparation for headstand in a very much more gentle way. Okay, and then slowly bring yourself up head last. And really we'll just use the last few minutes to just kind of wind down. If you feel you need a back bend, take it. But at this point, we did do some back bending, so I would skip the back bending because it's more energizing, and just come to some kind of winding down stretches. So let's just make one final, I said we'd finish with spinal traction, but one final downward dog shape. This is one of my favorite things to do because I feel it as traction, spinal traction. So we take the legs up and we reach the hands back. And we just find space in the spine here. So I always do this after a back bend to bring the space back into my spine after the compression. And then bend the knees, take the hands forward and just hug the knees into the chest. And maybe you want to roll around a bit, rock side to side, or maybe you just want to be still and just kind of integrate that headstand work. The headstand is called the king of all the yoga postures. So it's a profound practice, whether we did the full posture or not. Just tipping ourselves upside down in that way is a profound practice for the body or for the whole of our being. So just stillness can be good to integrate. And then we'll take a twist. So just bring the feet down to the floor, press through the feet, lift the hips up and over to the left, and allow the knees to come out to the right, extending through the left shoulder, maybe looking over the left shoulder, maybe anchoring down left thigh with right hand. And breathe. And just release on the exhale anything you're holding on to that's ready to move. Let it go. Ready for a change of perspective. That's what inversions can support. And we're done with an old perspective that doesn't work for us anymore. It's holding us back. So we just let it go. Shake things out with a headstand and then let it go. And so just coming to the other side, find that core support. So draw the navel to the spine as you bring the knees back to the center, press through the feet to bring your hips back to the center and then over to the right and let the knees come over to the left. And extend out through the right arm, right shoulder, looking over that right shoulder. Anchoring down right thigh with left hand. Nice slow deep breaths here, just unwinding, releasing, relaxing. And then slowly back to the center. Just take a symmetrical posture of your choice. Maybe once again, just hugging the knees in, maybe holding the outer edges of the feet, soles of the feet together, knees wide, or maybe happy baby, or maybe sort of Konasana on the floor, so soles of the feet together on the floor, knees wide, whatever feels good. Just one final symmetrical posture before Shavasana. A nice few slow deep breaths. And then when you feel ready, just extend the legs wider than the hips, feet flop out to the side, arms away from the side, palms up, and just let go fully into a good few minutes of stillness in Shavasana. And hopefully the spine feels quite long at the end of this class. When the spine is long, the breath flows with more ease. But at this stage of the class in Shavasana, we let go of any breath effort and we just let the breath take care of itself. Feel the body become bone heavy, melting into the earth. Relax the jaw, the face, the eyes, the whole body. And then if you need longer integration, please take it. Otherwise, just bringing your awareness back to your breath, deepening the breath. And beginning to move fingers and toes, stretching out the body, maybe one more final traction, spinal traction, stretch with the arms overhead, reaching into the heels and the toes. Maybe if it feels good to finish with the knees into the chest. Just do what feels good for your body. And just gently make your way back to seated. Maybe via a few breaths on your side. No rush. And just take a moment to harness the powerful energy of Shirshasana, the headstand. So just take a moment to close, maybe palms together, eyes closed, just harnessing, bring that energy in to your center line, to your energetic center line rather than your spinal column. When you're ready, just opening your eyes. Namaste. Thank you for practicing. Hope you enjoyed. Apologies for all the disruption this evening. It's a challenging class for me, and I'll see you soon.